I was just kind of looking forward to this 3-day holiday myself, because like you, just work and travel and work and travel and work and travel. It was just like, man, I'm looking forward to just having a hang at the house.
Are you just chilling this weekend?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not going anywhere. Just gonna, like today, all I did was just like watch movies and hung out a little bit, and I went out, got something to eat, and came back and just kind of did a few things for the show. Then I went back and just kind of chilled out for a while.
Nice.
So yeah, I didn't push myself too much today, and then tomorrow I don't know. I'll see what I'll do, and then Monday, who knows what I'm going to do.
Yeah, that's the only thing I want to get done over the weekend is I want to finish. I started watching Ozark, season 2 of Ozark today, and that is fucking great. So I want to finish that. I got like halfway through it, so I want to get to the other side, be done with that for another year.
And I know you started Mayans. How was that?
Mayans was great. Mayans is going to be fucking insanely good. I like the direction. It's different. There's like some gratuitous Sons of Anarchy stuff in it.
Okay.
Like Gemma was in it for a minute, which they really didn't need to do that. But I guess since that's Kurt Sutter's wife,
right?
They stuck her in there. But she actually popped up in a scene, and that was useless. But
well, maybe they were just trying to make the connection, like a very minimal connection to where the Mayans originated, where you might know them from if you maybe weren't familiar with Sons of Anarchy or something.
Yeah, there was. I'm not gonna give anything away at all, but there was one scene. Well, I'm gonna give a little away, but not a lot. There was one scene where the Mayans were doing something, trying to chase somebody down, and they enlisted Packer. Remember Packer, he was the president of the Sons, some other chapter.
Oh, I remember.
And he was the one that was like, Jax, you know what this means? A mayhem vote for you. That guy.
Right.
In season 7 of Sons. That guy and his people showed up in a scene to help the Mayans with something. And and there was a guy that looked a lot like Sean. I want to ask Sean if he's on this or not, because I think Sean was part of that chapter, wasn't he? In the show, Sean McNabb.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think where he fit in.
Yeah, he was something. We never even knew if he had a name or not. But it just looked like one of the guys looked like Sean, but they never did like an actual clear view of his face to where I could see for sure. But I do want to ask him if he's involved in any way with Mayans. But I think you'll like Mayans, and it's a very different story, which is cool. Is it definitely out of the same playbook? Yeah, but the storyline is completely different, and in a way that I could see it going for several years and being really good. So, like the first episode a ton. Anybody could watch it if they want to for free right now. I know it doesn't debut till Tuesday, but if you sign up for the FX Plus, that you get a free week, and Mayans is out there. That's what I did.
Nice.
I just signed up for the week and then immediately canceled it as soon as I fucking finished watching Mayans.
Right. Is that Mayans club president that was in Sons? Is he the main character on this or what?
He's not the. I think he's going to be in it from time to time. He was in the first episode at Alvarez.
Yeah,
he was in it, but he wasn't. He's not the president of the club that we're following.
All right.
He's like, because the setting is a few years later. That it's 4 years after Jax killed himself, and it's so Alvarez has ascended to. Like his patch says, I don't speak Spanish, and I don't know what it says, but they kept calling him the Godfather, so maybe it was Godfather in Spanish. But he's like the highest level guy of the Mayans. And the Mayan chapter that we're following has a different president and vice president, and the main guy of the show is a prospect right now.
All right, so the characters in this Mayans is not some holdover from Sons.
No, not at all.
Okay,
no,
all right.
it's years later, and it's a different chapter, and I think it's a chapter that we never encountered with Sons, honestly. Or if I think they're far enough away, wherever, like they're north. Like, remember how the Sons used to always go north, on their runs or whatever, and that's when they would hook up with Geary or Packers group.
Right. They would meet up at the California-Oregon state line or something.
I think these guys are closer to that.
Okay.
Like past Oakland, like near Sacramento, I think. I'm not positive on that, but a lot of moving parts. I will say that if I have any bitches at all about Mayans, the first episode was, how most shows they kind of give you a soft first episode so you can start grasping who everybody is and
sure.
And that, not at all. I mean, it was like jumping in fucking 35 minutes into a movie. It was like, boom, this is, right off the bat, you had shit happening and blowing up and a shootout. And I was like, who are all these fucking people? And, and then you're trying to piece it all together real fast, trying to figure out who they are. So, it definitely jumped off in a hurry. That's for sure. But it's cool, man. It's definitely, I'm definitely excited to watch it every single week. No question.
Good. Excellent. Well, I personally have not, started any new series or anything. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really haven't watched a whole lot of TV in the last month.
Yeah,
haven't really been into the whole TV mode recently.
Well, you've been traveling and everything else too, dude.
That's true. But even in the evenings, when I've gotten home from work and whatnot, I haven't really watched a whole lot of TV.
Yeah. Dude, I'm at a point now. I'm such a fucking psychopath. I spent Friday night trying to organize my media because I have so much media now that I can't keep up with it. So I'm trying to figure out what I should cut and what I should get rid of. Because like I cut 8 podcasts out of my podcast list because I'm just not listening to them. But then I added 450 hours of classic O&A footage to my phone. And then I went through my watch list on my Amazon Prime, and I had something like 73 things to watch. I was like, I got to cut this down. So I cut that down, and then I cut my Netflix down, and I cut my Hulu down. And it's like, what am I doing? Just pick some shit and watch it. I have all this goddamn stuff to watch, and what do? I end up watching fucking endless reruns of Law and Order, like a dummy.
Yeah.
Or Sons of Anarchy. I'll watch for the 15th time, all seven seasons. It's just too much. So
you just have a thing for the familiar.
I do. I really do. And I'm trying to, there's a lot of things that I want to watch still. And admittedly, I haven't had a ton of time either, which is a lot of the reason that I have had familiar stuff so that I can work and just have it be background noise instead of me being glued to it. Like today, I'm watching Ozark. And did you watch first season of Ozark or no?
No, I did not.
Ozark's a pretty cool show. It's it's about the cartel and stealing money and laundering money and all that. It's right up my alley. But it's not one of those shows that you can put on in the background. You just can't fucking do it. You have to watch it or you miss it. And then you don't know what the fuck is going on. And so I can't watch that show. So that show ends up staying in the queue. And like Bosch, I've been wanting to watch season whatever of Bosch. I think, what are we at? Season 4, I think, of Bosch. And I just haven't had time. Again, because you have to sit down and watch it. You can't just background it. So that's how I end up getting behind on stuff that I want to watch. And there's always shit. Dude, I'm such a TV junkie. There's always shit I want to watch. Like they just released that Jack Ryan thing on Amazon Prime. I want to watch it. I know it's going to suck because it's got the guy from The Office trying to be a fucking badass.
Okay.
Which I don't see how that's going to work. But I do want to see it. And then, on top of all that, I still want to listen to a bunch of music and stuff. So it's like, there's not enough hours in the day to listen or watch all the media that I want to pay attention to.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well,
I need to focus.
Yeah. Well, I too was going through, I won't call it a dilemma, but just a decision. Like because I too have certain podcasts that I like to listen to, which I don't even get to listen to as much as I like.
Sure.
And there's, I have plenty of music that we get already. And then, whatnot. Well, my Spotify is coming up, the yearly
renewal
subscription. And it's like, you know what? I had to sit there and think, when was the last time I actually listened to Spotify?
Right.
And it's been a while. And I'm thinking, I may not renew.
Dumping it, huh?
Yeah, because I literally have not listened to it.
Yeah. Well, if you're not using it. And, dude, you have an iPhone. How big is your hard drive?
It's a 128.
So you could put 10,000 songs on your phone.
Yeah, if I wanted to. Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, in the end, you could put all the music on your phone. And, for you, it's not like you're sitting around waiting for the new fucking Alice in Chains record.
No, not at all. But, like when I'm in my car, because I have the Bluetooth connection.
Yeah.
I listen to the podcasts in the car while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So I don't need to download anything. I just play it, because, like one of my favorite podcasts, which I know I shared with you a couple of them this week, was Mark Levin.
Sure.
He's on Spreaker.
Yeah.
So I just go to the Spreaker and, the newest episode is there and I get to listen to about 45 minutes of it in the morning and 45 minutes on the way home.
Right.
So, and it's all commercial free.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have Levin on my regular podcast thing. It just downloads and it's there in the morning. Dude, that's like the greatest function ever for me. And you would probably, if I showed you how to do it, you would probably get a lot of use out of it. But I use what is the thing I'm using now? It's called Downcast.
Okay.
It's a podcast app. And you plug in your podcast that you like, and it just downloads and erases everything automatically. You tell it how many new things to download, and you tell it how many to keep at any given time. And like I went to Pittsburgh on whatever day, Tuesday this week. I had to go for the first time in forever. I had to go up to Pinball, PA. And I jumped in the car and I was like, what do I want to listen to? I want to listen to Rogan. And I just opened up Downcast and hit play. And it's there. It's there, it's playing, it's on, and it's not burning any data. And I was like, fuck yeah, that is just the fucking best. No commercials, no nothing. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Yeah, I would like to be able to listen to music or listen to podcasts, at the job.
Sure.
But I'm just so focused on stuff I could never pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, so it's better for me to work in silence, to kind of focus on the things that I need to do rather than trying to background something and not get anything out of it anyway.
Right. Yeah. I mean, no, that makes sense. But I mean, you do have that long ride every day.
I do.
It makes sense that you would listen to, you could probably catch all of a Levin show going and coming, right?
Almost. It's about 2.5 hours. So I listen to the balance of it at night when I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes I'll throw Michael Savage on when I have like an hour of car to do. I'll just put on the Savage Nation.
Right.
Listen to Michael Savage sometimes.
There you go.
If I'm in the mood for news. But I just have so many fucking podcasts that, I just had to start cutting a bunch of them that I just don't listen to or that I find to be arrogant cunts or whatever.
Arrogant cunts, huh?
Like I cut, and I don't know this guy. I really should. I'm not calling him a cunt necessarily, but I just find him to be arrogant. Is that Dean Del Rey? Are you familiar with him?
I am not familiar with him.
He does a music podcast, and he's connected to where he gets big interviews and whatnot. He's kind of like the Mark Maron of music.
Okay.
As podcasting goes. He gets all the big interviews or whatever, but he's really just, he tells good stories, but he's also comes off just kind of not like regular guy. I don't know, I don't know if that's pompous or what that is, but he just is not regular guy. And it's like, you know what? I'm past radio fucking guy. I don't enjoy that anymore. I don't enjoy guy that's like, hey, in the studio right now, let's hear it for Jimmy Page. Jimmy, how have you been? I'm not into that. I like when it's just, you know what, dude? I saw you once and you were cool, man. Do you remember anything about that?
Yeah, sure.
That's what I like. And Dean, Steve Jackson in the chat room hit on the head. He is a hipster. And that's very, very much probably why I don't like what he's doing. Again, he gets good interviews. He gets very good interviews, but he is a hipster, and he does, just the guy will start talking, and then he just jumps all over him, before doesn't let them finish their answers. So they start an answer. Hey, is there any chance you're going to work with Robert Plant again? Well, we've talked. Oh, and what was said? It's like that. It's like, dude, ease up a little bit.
He just kind of wants to dominate the room. Is that it?
Yeah, he likes hearing his voice on the Dean Del Rey show, I guess.
All right.
But and again, I don't know him, so I don't have I don't really have an issue with him. I got tired of his podcast, so off it came.
I gotcha. Well, speaking of podcasts, I did listen to one today just because it popped up in my email.
Okay.
I'm sure you're familiar with the record label Rhino Records.
Sure.
Well, they do a lot of reissues.
Okay.
And apparently, because it's no secret that I'm a fan of the band Chicago.
Sure.
And they were out this summer, or maybe they're still out this summer with REO Speedwagon. But one of the things that they were doing is they were playing Chicago 2 in its entirety.
Right.
And so Rhino Records reissued Chicago 2. It's a remastered version and everything.
Okay.
So to help promote the thing, I guess, the band made a stop. I think it was in St. Louis or something. That must be where, their office is or whatever.
Sure.
But three of the original members of the band came in to talk about Chicago 2.
Okay.
About what's their recollection and how it came about and what do they remember about recording it and all this other stuff. But if I had to hear another what's it like question, you guys went out there this summer and you're playing Chicago 2 in its entirety. What's that like?
Yeah, and then they lied and said it was great when every reviewer said it's been a bag of shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Because number one, it's a 2-album record. Mm-hmm. 4 album sides, and it's long and it does contain like 4 hits, but the rest of it is a lot of music.
Right.
Now, you have to be a real connoisseur and maybe a real aficionado to sit there and appreciate that, but people go out to these concerts because they just want to hear the whole cavalcade of hits.
Yeah. Just give me the 40th anniversary lineup and then leave.
Yeah.
And
this is not a bunch of hits on this.
Right. There's 2? Was there 2 hits on that?
No, there was Make Me Smile, Color My World, 25 or 6 to 4. I think that was about it.
Yeah, so 3 hits that people would know.
Yeah, and the rest of it is a lot of music.
Yeah, so there's 3 hits people would know and a lot of fill that most people, except for the hardcores, would not know.
That's correct.
Wow. Yeah, that would be a suck concert for me too.
So the first half of their set is the 2 records.
Right.
And then they finish out the set with, some of the bigger hits.
Sure.
And yeah, it's kind of a tough listen for people who are not that huge of a fan.
Right.
Me personally, I would appreciate it, but I could only appreciate it if it was more of the original members. There's only 3 of the 7 left.
And you don't want to see that guy that doesn't sound like anybody.
Yeah, basically it. So I listened to this podcast today because they did talk about it and how it came about and where they were at in their lives and, how they were able to record a double record back then, which was a feat in itself.
So you recorded a double album way back then. What was that like?
That's pretty much the question. Now, Robert Lamb, you wrote most of the, the songs for this. What was that like writing those songs? It's like, dude, come on, enough with the what was that like?
Hey, look, there's Chicago 30 with the Chicago Neelys.
Yeah, that's it. That's funny.
Yeah, no. Who was the interviewer? Do you know?
Some guy with
the record label.
Yeah, I didn't recognize the name. Like it was like a hit, like a big interviewer guy.
Oh, was it?
I said no, I didn't recognize anybody.
Yeah, it was probably just some intern in the office.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but they kind of seem to know a little bit, obviously, about the band and stuff, but a lot of what's it like questions.
So according to Wikipedia, probably what it was. According to Wikipedia, you guys recorded this in 1968.
Yeah.
What was it like?
Yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate podcasts, and I appreciate the fact that, there are some really excellent podcasts out there. Sure. And then the others, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, they're hit or miss. They really are. There's no rhyme or reason. You just have to. That's the one bad thing about podcasts. I guess it's the same with even radio, with anything that you listen to, is, you have to listen to it and then decide if it's fucking worth your time or not.
Right.
But podcasts, definitely, there's a lot of shitty ones. A lot of shitty ones from big-name people, too. That's what's really ironic.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that they have a name because of something else that they did, but that doesn't make them a great podcaster.
I know. I love how all the comedians think that they're good podcasters. They're really not.
It doesn't translate. I mean, they might be good live performers if you go see them in a club or something, but that doesn't make them great podcasters.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. Well, one guy that I do admire, especially with his setup and the way that he does it, obviously, in my opinion, Anthony Cumia probably does the best job when it comes to what would you call his thing? Would you just call it a TV show anymore, or would you call it a video podcast, or how would you describe that?
He's the true hybrid. I mean, on one level, it's a show because it does air live at a certain time on video and on audio. But there's a video delivery that you can download. There's audio that you can download. It's podcasted. It really is hybrid across all mediums.
Well, the other guy that I thought does a good job, especially with the technology, is Joe Rogan. But listening to him lately, I'm not sure what shifted with him. He's not quite as edgy as he used to be.
No, it's because he's making money now.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Because he used to be pretty edgy and, really kind of maybe venture into subject area that would be a little, quote unquote, uncomfortable.
Sure.
And now he doesn't seem to do that anymore. He seems to be very, very straight-laced now.
Well, he's scared of losing it, dude. I mean, I was watching him. He had a comedian on not too long ago. And I don't know why, but I just turned it on and was watching it. And he was talking. He's friends with Alex Jones. Rogan is.
Right.
And it was right after Rogan right after everything got pulled. And so he wanted to play some audio of Alex doing something, but he was afraid to do it because he was afraid that they would pull his channel from YouTube. So he's on edge about everything now.
Right.
Instead of just doing it and saying, hey, it's news coverage, which he could, you could get away with that, I would imagine. But he definitely is. It's funny because when he first started, I was all in with Rogan. He was an everyday listen for me. Every single morning I would listen to Rogan. That was my thing. Him and Adam Carolla, too, another guy that lost his edge. But especially with Rogan, now I don't listen every day. I just look to see the guests. And if he has a guest that's cool or that I'm aware of, then I'll pay attention or I'll watch it or I'll listen to it, whichever. But most of the time, that's a whole nother thing that he's done, too. He's gotten into these weird fucking guests. He's interviewing these, this guy's a psychologist that studies, I don't know, women's afterbirth problems or some shit. I mean, just fucking out in the blue stuff. And it's like, I have no interest in that. I liked it better when he was interviewing comics and when he was interviewing TV people and, and he does do some good shows here and there. Like he he had on Macaulay Culkin like a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was. And it was really pretty good. A lot of people were dissing him that he didn't ask Macaulay Culkin any, did Michael Jackson fuck you questions. But that aside, it was a really good interview, and it really showed a different side of Macaulay Culkin that I never knew, that I never realized that, how sort of kind of a little bit normal that guy can actually be.
Right.
And he did a good job with it. So he does do good stuff sometimes, but he's not as good as he used to be. Not even close. He definitely has hit the wall a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump the shark completely because he definitely once or twice a week will come up with something pretty good. But a lot of his shit is just like, all right, I'll listen for 10 minutes and I'm off to something else.
Right. Well, I think that you shared this with me. One of the probably a very interesting subject that he had was with Henry Rollins talking about his encounter with Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool because, obviously Henry Rollins has a way different slant on social and political things than Ted Nugent does.
Sure.
But because of their shared interest in music, and being that Henry Rollins grew up listening to Ted Nugent and was a fan, they were able to come to some common ground and actually hang out together a little bit.
Right.
Even though that they certainly don't see eye to eye politically or socially.
Right.
And to hear Henry Rollins tell that story was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good episode. See, that's when Rogan is good. But then the next day he's interviewing Michio Kaku about fucking string theory or some shit. It's like, dude, I don't want to hear 3 hours on this shit.
Right.
That's George Norrie material for when I'm going to sleep.
Sure.
Stop it.
Too good. Well, anyway, probably the biggest and the best podcast out there right now is the Classic Metal Show. Yeah, you could catch us every week live on Saturday right now. And, of course, you can listen to us through the week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, Monday through Friday. There's always something there.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, we will come back and we'll talk a little bit of the Hangout stories.
Oh, yeah.
That we did last week prior to the Summer Bash.
Yes. All I've got to say is spirit fingers, baby.
So we got some good stories coming your way, and then of course we got a bunch of other stuff to catch up on, and you shared some things with me today, and
sure,
we got a lot of things to cover. So this show's going to fly by. I can tell it already.
We're already an hour and a quarter in.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, if you are listening to the Classic Metal Show live, we are live in the chat room. Just go over to theclassicmetalshow.com and hit the link at the top that says CMS chat, or you could just go to chatandkill.com, just spell it out, and sign in with any of your social media, or sign up with the Rumble Talk ID, or however you choose, but jump in there and be a part of the show.
Yep.
All right. Well, since you cut up some of the audio from last week's show, our good friends Red Rain did me a big solid. And they actually performed the song Demons for us live at the Summer Bash, and it sounded absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Dude, we could tell this before we get into the whole thing. Did you know at all before Bubba told you that they were going to play it?
I did not know.
Dude, so we were all sitting around the table, and Sammy might as well have just held up a fucking sign that said, "Neeley, we're gonna play Demons," because like he was talking about it, and he's trying to like signal me that he was doing it, but and obviously the band knew that they were doing it, but he's like he was a little bit drunk, I think, and he's doing like the fucking, instead of just like a little wink thing, he's doing like the head nod wink thing. And I'm like, okay, I get it, but I couldn't really say that because you were sitting right there, but I wanted to say, dude, I got it. You're going to fucking play it. It was just funny. He was just like, yeah, that song, that would be doing a cover, and we don't do covers. Wink. It was like, dude, all right. you're giving it away as much as anybody.
Well, anyway, they did a solid for me and all the fans who liked the song. And I know our friend Demon in the chat room, she loved it.
Sure.
And so I'm going to play it for those of you who didn't get to hear it. This is the live version. They did a fantastic job with it, and I really appreciate the fact that they unmothballed that thing and worked it out and did a really fantastic job with it. So here it is. This is Red Rain doing the old Seth song, Demons.
Cool.
It's Red Rain exclusively here
on your classic metal show.